All right, gentlemen, let's get to it. Another quick round, 30 seconds each, and we take it from there. How will the U.S. election impact Ukraine, or the election campaign for the time being? Dr. Beck, please take the lead.
Well, I cannot answer you that question. I'm no expert on US politics. Both my interlocutors are probably in a better position to answer that question. The general view in Europe is that if Trump were to win the US election, there's probably a greater chance of bringing this conflict to an end. Under a different Republican candidate or under the Biden administration, I think there's less of a chance. That's a general view in Europe.
All right, Ambassador Ayalon, the view from your side?
Yeah, I think we have seen it quite vividly. The clip you have shown, I would say the diametrically opposing views of Trump and Biden, which shows really that if the Republicans wins the White House, we are going to see a new or a neo-isolationist by the United States, which will not bode well for Europe and American allies worldwide.
Mr. Clifford D, wrap it up for us, please.
Yeah, first of all, we have no idea even who's going to run in this election, much less how it's going to come out. And if you listen to President Trump, now ex-President Trump, all he said was he was going to settle it. He didn't say he was going to pull out. We don't actually know what he would do if he becomes president. I'm not sure he knows what he would do if he becomes president. I do want to follow up on my question to Dr. Beck. If I heard him correctly, I agree with him that under Merkel, Germany became very, very dependent on Russia for its energy needs. That was a terrible mistake. I thought I heard him say he wants Germany to again become dependent on Russia for its energy needs and is not concerned about the possible dissolution of the NATO alliance.
Well, I think at present we have no alternative because Mrs. Merkel also phased out nuclear energy, and she single-handedly decided, and the current government is following her in that respect, to save the world's climate with a share, Germany has a share of world CO2 emissions of about 1.8%. So given the context of our suicidal policy in the last 10 to 15 years, I'm afraid we have little option. That doesn't mean that I'd like to continue our dependency on Russian gas inevitably. But you see, we are in an unenviable position here as a result of two governments that have prioritized solving the world's problems over our own.
And NATO, do you value the alliance or not so much?
It's yes, we value it as one of several objectives. So obviously, there's a degree of maneuver we have, and I think we shouldn't be overzealous. And I think for Germany, settling this conflict, as you call it, is an economic priority. I'm simply stating the economic facts governing my country, I'm afraid.
There is, Ellie,
yes, don't
if I may.
Settling the conflict. Don't confuse settling the conflict with allowing Putin to win, because he will go on and there will be threats to your neighbors and possibly to you after that.
Well, Ellie,
I believe in the possibility of compromise.
Ambassador Ayalon, please chime in. Yeah.
No, it's quite amazing. I really watch with great interest the discourse between Dr. Beck and my good old friend from Washington, Cliff May. And I would like to add the Israeli angle here, which is quite important. You know, just 2 days ago, there was a deal signed, which was worth $3.5 billion, where Germany bought the first battery of Israeli Arrow, which shows in my mind the determination of Germany to defend itself if they need to even to defy Russia, notwithstanding this oil or economic dependence, which I think is going to actually go and dwindle. And for that reason, I believe that Germany will continue to be a major building block in the, let's say, in the alliance against Russia.
Let me pick up another point off Danny's point, and that is if the prohibition against wiping out your neighbors by military force is repealed successfully by President Putin, that will have huge ramifications for what Xi Jinping decides to do vis-a-vis Taiwan and others of his neighbors in Asia, and also the Islamic Republic of Iran, which already has made vassal states out of Lebanon, Syria, and is attempting to do the same in Yemen and Iraq. That has consequences for Israel, it seems to me.
Yeah, and gentlemen, as we are nearing the end of our discussion, maybe the working assumption here might be tweaked a bit, because the Western vendetta, if you will, at since day one was to stick with Ukraine until the end. But is the West's end at this point in time is the same end for Ukraine, Mr. May?
I'm not sure I quite understand. What I do think is that go ahead.
No, please. You will clarify me better than I do. That's for certain.
What I would say is simply this: that the people of Ukraine, the nation of Ukraine, the independence of Ukraine should be of importance to people in free countries of the West. And therefore, we should support their self-defense against an invading army that seeks to wipe this nation off the earth. If we do not, that will not be the end of the story.
Ambassador Ayalon?
Well, I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see a Kissingerian kind of solution, whereby the United States, let's say, international community, let the two now warring sides pound at each other until they're all exhausted, and then there will be some kind of a political deal. I'm afraid in this political deal, Ukraine will have to pay some territory, and the Russians will pay in kind as well.
Dr. Beck?
I think I tend to agree with the ambassador's perspective, but he too mentions that there'll be a deal only once both parties are exhausted. I'd like to say, if possible, we shouldn't even get to that point. I'm not sure that the West's interest in defeating Russia, assuming that's what it is, entirely coheres with Ukraine's interest. Ukraine has no interest in a long, drawn-out, gruesome conflict.
So, Dr. May, we do have, Mr. May, we do have a few seconds left. Maybe I will try to clarify myself again. Should the White House have a clear definition of what a victory for Ukraine means?
The Ukrainians have a clear definition. They want Russian troops out of their country. They want Russian troops no longer raping their women. They want Russian troops no longer stealing Ukrainian children, about 400,000 so far, and taking them to Russia. They want their territorial independence. Is it possible that at the end of the negotiations it won't be that good? Of course, a lot of things are possible, but we should support the Ukrainians who have been attacked unjustly, unprovoked, by a foreign army. If we say, oh, well, these things happen, they will happen again, and that will have ramifications for the U.S., for Israel, for Germany.
On that note, gentlemen, thank you so very much for your time, for your insight. We appreciate it. 2 minutes, and we're back.